Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
The challenge facing the United States is that we have to be right one time. I mean, 100% of the time.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's.
This shit's bad for my career.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Frogs gay.
The lunar landings were more than likely fabricated.
Michael Jackson, he moonwalked. NASA didn't he? The moon doesn't even exist.
Oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm not gonna lie, you threw a curveball at me.
The Illuminati, this is their main form of communication. They meet at the cloning station.
Reptilian, non-human race. That's nonsense.
Down the rabbit hole we go.
Aliens.
R. Kelly nuked Paul Walker's car.
I can't believe the Philippines would do anything dodgy.
I mean, we've got to look at the facts here.
I doubt we will.
It's hard for me to explain why that was the case. Just take my word for it.
Jesus fucking Christ, Kings.
Okay, so I was pondering this the other day.
What's that?
You came when you sit down in the pan for a shite, but it's too late.
Yeah.
You're waiting for I'm going to quote you here, primo drop.
Yeah.
But no.
Solid effort.
Nothing.
What?
Then there's that warm, mushy, baked tatty-like feel in the back of your knee, and you know you're going to have to buy new clothes.
Shit yourself.
Maybe. that warm chocolate brownie is never going to taste the same.
Hello and welcome to Jet Fuel Can't Melt Steel Beams, I guess.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of is. At the same time, it's not.
Just missing a body part.
Yeah, we're normally a trio, but today we're a duo.
That's 2.
And maybe the worst duo to have. Sadly, first of all, I say hi. This is Rob.
I'm James. Hope you guys are all right.
And if you're pretty good with your maths, like I say, that's only 2. We're missing Ben. Ben's been abducted.
Yeah, we're going to go with that one.
Yeah, Ben's been abducted and is no way drunk in another city.
Not at all. There's no chance of that.
There is not a chance. And this is a bit of where panic stations have come up. We're recording today. And we've had this realization that Ben really is kind of the glue. That kind of, well, he's also, he keeps us in track.
Yeah, we're not going to get anything.
No,
yeah, so we got the message at 5 this morning saying, I don't think I'll make it.
At 5 this morning, we decided we're going to meet up at 11. So we got a message at 5, which I liked. I liked it. It was like, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, don't know if I'm going to make it at 11. And then at about 9, he was like, guys, I just don't think I'm going to be there.
It's not safe for anyone.
Yeah. But he did encourage us, like, right, you just go out, try and do a couple of recordings and see what you can get together.
Give it a bash, yeah.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be kind of an idea of what you might see in the future, an idea of a mismatch of like things we've already discussed, but bits we might have missed or haven't even been able to add into the pod. So kind of like an extras of sorts.
Yeah, just a bit of a throw together, but
yeah.
But hey ho, what can you do?
Run with it. We'll have fun.
Yeah. So I've got our random shitty fun fact.
Fucking love it.
Your favourite.
Ben might not be here. It might not be the true trio, but we still have the interesting fact.
Yeah, absolutely. So previously, obviously, in our Hitler discussions, we spoke about the superstitions of the Germans.
Yeah, of the Aryans.
Yeah. So what about the superstition of the Turks? In Turkey, it's actually frowned upon to chew gum at night. Don't even think about it. That's what mouthwash is for, apparently. No, true fact.
Huh?
The Turks believe that if you're chewing gum at night in Turkey, you're actually chewing the flesh of the dead. Everyone loves it, Rob. Everyone loves a zombie.
Is that true?
Yeah, there's a big list. So, in fact, they're very superstitious about doing things at night. You can't look in a mirror at night. You can't even drink milk at night, or it will cause the cow to stop producing milk.
You can't drink milk at night?
No.
Have you got to treat the Turkish like Mogwais from Gremlins? Don't feed them after midnight.
No, they're too late.
They duplicate.
If you play with your foot at night, one of your parents will die. Absolutely fucking mental stuff.
Oh, God.
There's a big list of about 100 things you can't do in Turkey. You can't really do anything apart from eat kebabs and get a smart gent's haircut, apparently. I'm hoping I'm allowed to say that.
Get a Peaky Blinders haircut. Get a Ben haircut.
It's fine if it's satire.
It's satire. Satire alert.
So there's a short list for you.
Drinking milk at night's really stuck me. You drinking milk at night, you fucking killed your cow.
That's the one that you're most upset about, is you're not allowed to drink milk.
Yeah. Well, which is weird because I fucking hate milk as well.
So you wouldn't be fucking doing it anyway.
Nah.
Oh well.
What was the other ones? If you itch your foot, your dad's dead or something?
So if you play with your foot at night, one of your parents will die. So apparently it depends on left or right foot, mum or dad, something like that.
It might just be me, but I've never really played with my foot.
No, I can't reach it. Too fat. Struggle to get socks off.
The thing is, I am also a large lad. I'm a large and in charge, but I've got like that Sammo Hung flexibility.
Large and in charge.
That's it. I'm like that kid from what's the Peter Pan film with Robin Williams?
Oh, fuck knows.
He's the black kid who just rolls himself up into a ball and rolls at people. I've got that kind of flexibility. It's very weird.
You look very like him as well.
I know.
So, anyway, on that note, there's a short list for you. We have a couple of bonus lists for you today to extend our previous episodes, as Rob explained. List 1 will be Dead Wrestlers.
Oh, yeah. Only the best. My favourite. And I'll also have an apology for that when we come to it.
And absolutely on another random note, another previous episode, we have List 2 in the second half of this episode, which is a special Adolf is an Arse assassination attempts, where we've got 18 attempts on Hitler's life we're going to discuss.
Like, there are two kind of... I know we've only done a couple of episodes, but I feel like they are going to be two people that just keep coming back into the pod, even through different discussions.
Yeah.
Like, I think they might be like there's 3 of us, but they might be the 4th and 5th other...
Missing
members, yeah. So you got Ben, you've got James, you've got Rob, and you've also got Benoit and Hitler. Like, the unofficial members.
I hope not. So Benoit and Hitler in one episode.
Get the pop mics on Hitler, he spits.
Benoit and Hitler in one episode. You are welcome.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll open with the phrase Vince McMahon is a prick. Yeah. I think that's kind of fair.
Yeah, he is an absolute sausage. He's a legend. He's a legend as well. He does like a level of business where you only believed existed in like films like Wall Street and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Just the idea that you've got all these performers and he doesn't give them health insurance.
No, he just doesn't care about them.
He doesn't pay for their flights. So like you think like, oh wow, these wrestlers are getting like 100k wage. Like lower tier wrestlers maybe not get TV time. They're getting 100k wage.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, but like that's lower tier people are not getting TV time. But they're still having to pay for their insurance and their travel. They're traveling like every day. So that 100k dwindles real fast. Because they have to pay all their rentals for the cars. And then if they fucking break a leg, well, there you go.
You're on your own.
Yeah, you know what the fucking the US medical care is like. So it's like, there you go. There's 15 grand done.
You're just thrown in a skip by a couple of stitches.
Yeah, there's like I can't remember who it was, but there was a podcast recently. And it might have been like Chris Jericho or something. He was talking about it with someone else. Where he said... like the guest, whoever the guest was, like, we were traveling with this one guy because it worked out to be cheaper if you travelled in bulk rather than all renting a car.
Yeah.
One guy drives a car, everyone chips in for the rental.
Okay.
Where he had to leave the WWE because he was running into a red just trying to be a WWE wrestler. So he was getting a WWE wage, but all his money was going into like travel and hotels.
Everything else.
Yeah, so he was actually running on red. So he was like, no, I need to leave and go to the Indies to make some money. That's fucked up.
It's crazy. It's a crazy profession.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think Vince can single-handedly be blamed for the conditions of many wrestlers. No protection, no concern for their welfare. He wants big roided freaks, basically, who can perform every night, no time off, and doesn't even give them health insurance, like you said.
Yeah.
So we've got a kind of few disgruntled WWE wrestlers that we can talk about today.
Yeah, I can't... when we were discussing this earlier about what we're going to do, is that I don't think there is one wrestler can say they're not disgruntled by him. Because he just sounds like a fucking man out of his time. From the reports you hear about Vince McMahon is that he doesn't even know what's happening in the real world.
Oh, yeah.
Because he spends all his time in the wrestling world.
It's just wrestling.
And it isn't a case like, oh, I'm the owner and I've got my managers doing this and this and this. No, like he's involved with everything. Which is insane. The guy's like in his 70s, still obviously banging the steroids. He's done doing everything.
How's he not dead?
Nah, I think if he stops, he is dead.
I think he's some sort of zombie.
Like
reptilian elite.
Yeah. Oh God. We'll get to that at some point in the future.
Very, very soon. Yeah. Very soon. So, yeah, I mean, Benoit, his demise, and his pal Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
I think things weren't good for them. Vince McMahon wasn't doing a lot to help.
No, he kind of encouraged it. he pretty much encouraged it, and he is. The thing with Benoit and Guerrero is that they put themselves in that position as well. The thing is, McMahon didn't stop it because it's money. You know what I mean? He is not going to stop that money flow coming in. But Benoit, as we've talked about in the episode, his finishing move was a diving headbutt. And if he did that 5 times a night, no wonder his brain is going to turn into mash.
It's just a tatty.
He's a robot. You just push him out into the stage and then he suddenly remembers, fucking choke the boy out. When they hit him with a flying headbutt.
But McMahon let him do that every night. He wanted him to go out. He forced him to go out and do that every night until he ended up with the brain of an 85-year-old Alzheimer's patient.
Strangling his family and that.
Yeah, it was
saving the dogs, but strangling his family.
Yeah, he did save the dogs. So does that make him a hero?
You decide. No, he's definitely a tragic figure. Even for what he's done, when you hear about what he's done, there's still, I don't know, weirdly some part of kind of empathy. I go, fuck, that's a tough one. Eddie Guerrero, on the other hand, do you know what I mean? He's maybe one of the most charismatic wrestlers of all time. Latino heat, lie, cheat, steal. He's just a legend. But he was banging the steroids. You see him in WCW and he's a cruiserweight.
Then all of a sudden
you see him in WWE and he's a fucking megalodon.
All of a sudden he turns into Brock Lesnar with a mullet.
Exactly, and a wee mustache, wee pencil mustache. But yeah, they are cases of that. They weren't cared for. And that's it. Who else have you got on the list?
So we've got basically the whole of WCW. I might as well just put everyone here.
Everyone in WCW, a lot, yeah. It was. I think when we say all of WCW, I think we should probably say kind of all regional wrestling in America as well, because that really doesn't exist. Well, it does, but not to the extent it was. There's a monopoly on mainstream wrestling, and that's WWE.
Yeah.
But prior to Vince McMahon getting control, there was loads of different territories around America that all had their own stars. Do you know what I mean? So it was a budding, thriving system. And then Vince McMahon decided that I'm going to cherry pick and get the best of what I can from these places.
He's a very kind of shrewd businessman, though, as well. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
he knows what he's doing. He's just an arse.
Yeah, he's kind of like the idea of like... actually, I don't know how I was going to explain it, but his idea is that I am going to make everything great for me. I'm going to destroy everything else. Do you mean nothing should exist? So I think the likes of like WCW, or maybe they are the last big company to exist before he came in. And this is in the States. You've still got Japan. And Japan runs its own kind of like territory system. You've still got players and they all kind of play nicely together, like New Japan and All Japan and Dragon Gate and whatever. But in America, all that was left was WCW. And then he eventually just fucking killed it. And like he had a great time doing it. So when he bought WCW, I think he bought WCW for like $2 million, which when you think about it, is crazy.
Oh yeah,
$2 million, and that included the whole back catalogue of everything.
I mean, its net worth now.
Oh, it's insane. The amount of money they must make off it just off that network alone.
Oh, it's crazy. But I think he, like you said, I think he takes a lot of kind of personal joy out of suffering of others.
Oh yeah,
it seems that way.
Yeah, he likes to bring it up a lot. He's really he takes a lot of pleasure in it. Like the last episode of Nitro, which was a WCW program, it was all it was a simulcast where Raw was on the same night because it was the Monday Night Wars.
Right. Okay.
And WCW were on the same time, and so you've got Raw on where he goes, "You know what? I'm gonna have a look at this WCW," because everybody knew. And so when they had like the final wrestling on Nitro, it was Vince McMahon big on the screen going, Jeff Jarrett, you're fired. So he was going through the roster on like the big screen going like, he'll be fine. He's fired. What a dickhead.
Fucking arsehole. On the kind of side note, having just spoken about kind of Benoit and McMahon, I just remember, I don't think it was something I mentioned in the Benoit podcast, was the night that it was announced that obviously Benoit had committed atrocities, he committed the kind of double homicide, suicide. And there was a storyline with Vince McMahon. I can't remember who the other wrestler was, but someone had crashed or blown up Vince McMahon's car, like his expensive Bentley or whatever it was he was driving at the time. So there was a handful, almost every single WWE wrestler at the time, wearing the T-shirt, "I did it." At the same time that this has been announced, half the WWE universe is wearing "I did it" T-shirts. So they obviously immediately got withdrawn from sales.
Yeah, because then Vince McMahon was out the next night, wasn't he?
Oh yeah.
It was like they had to go, right, I'm not dead, but Chris Benoit is.
Yeah. On a serious note, Benoit died.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus. Just to note as well, because I know we're listing some wrestlers here. This isn't our official list of the episode. We've still got the deep wrestlers to come. Just in case you're getting confused with the number of lists. But
no, we're just having a little chat about some other people who might be frustrated. Who's next on that list?
So we've got Owen Hart. So McMahon, obviously. nice of you to laugh, bro.
It's like
you have to explain why that's funny.
Who could be his enemy? Like, somebody who's dead. So Owen Hart, brother of Bret Hart, great wrestler in his own right. Could have been amazing. It's one of those what if wrestlers, because he still wasn't. I don't believe in his prime. He's still relatively young.
Yeah,
but he was wrestling under a name like Blue Blazer at the time, I think.
Okay.
And was meant to, for one of these pay-per-views, descend from the stadium.
On the zip line.
On the zip line kind of thing, yeah. And he was not happy with it. He didn't want to do it.
McMahon forced him to do it.
Vince was like, yeah, you could do this. And he hired in these people who were maybe not that qualified to deal with the zip line, even though they said they were. And this resulted in the quick release catch coming off straight away, and he plummeted from the stadium into the ring. And was
it his head first into a turnbuckle or something? I
he
can't
was
remember.
still, I think, alive.
Yeah.
But this was on a pay-per-view. And what would you do if you just witnessed somebody fall to their death? You would stop that pay-per-view. Do you mean cut it off? Put a refund back to those people? Because you can't continue a show after someone's died. He didn't. The show must go on.
Well, Vince is wanting them to pay double because he's seen someone die live in the ring. He's that kind of arsehole, isn't he?
Yeah, and this is it. So I wouldn't say Owen Hart is his enemy, thinking about it. Because I don't think Owen really had that much of a chance before the... Oh, God. Maybe at the time he was like, I fucking hate this guy.
It's McMahon's fault, though. Because he forced him to do it. He didn't want to do it. Forced to do it. Snaps.
He dies.
Breaks his neck. Dies in the ring. In front of everyone.
So it's more... his enemy is probably the Hart family. And we'll no doubt hear about another Hart soon. Because people have tried to get Owen Hart into the Hall of Fame. And his wife's not having it at all. He's not in the Hall of Fame. Which I can understand. You wouldn't want your husband to be honoured by the company that killed him. And that might be a hard truth. A hard fact. He was like, no.
Then it's his job. And that's what did he not have a passion in wrestling? He enjoyed doing it. He was great at what he did. So you think that he would probably want his name to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. No, I understand. And that was his job. His job was a wrestler and that. But it wasn't a fucking zip liner. Which has resulted in his death.
It's just a symbol of the zip line above the plaque.
And I think... oh, God.
Sorry.
Recall. No, that's fucking nothing. We've said a lot worse. No, I'm trying to think what's the best way to... I think that at the same time as that, the WWE have in little ways tried to kind of recreate that. Maybe the way GR spoke at the time. They've tried to recreate it for other situations in wrestling, which were all fake. Yep. So they are monetizing on that shock part of the death, which is disgusting. You shouldn't do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, he was a dad, he had kids, and he was a married man.
But what do you expect from
Vince McMahon?
Yeah, exactly. So we've got CM Punk, who was sacked by McMahon on his wedding day.
And then subsequently sued by Vince McMahon because he did a podcast. So maybe we should probably just leave it.
Where's Ben?
Ben, is this okay to talk about? No, CM Punk's probably the biggest current name. I'm really not that aware of CM Punk. For me, I know kind of the mid 80s up to the end of the Attitude Era. That's kind of like my prime wrestling time.
Yeah.
And then only recently am I into it now. So when I say into it, it's not watching Raw every week. It's more reading all the stories and keeping up with the news and the politics. It's the most interesting thing.
I think you watch Raw and SmackDown religiously.
No, I tried to.
I think you even watched that WWE Heat if it's still around.
No, I think that ended before the Attitude Era.
Ended before it started.
No, it was a thing where I tried to get into it, and it's just not for me. And I think when you look back to that Attitude Era, it really isn't that great. No. But the stories about it, man, are fucking so insane.
Oh yeah.
You hear all these stories about like the rock and roll. The rock and roll. Maybe you sound like an old guy, but you hear the stories about Motley Crue and stuff like that in Guns N' Roses, which might be insane. But compared to wrestlers, it's fuck all.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. It's the most fucking rock and roll thing there is, and that's wrestling, which is weird.
It's just a crazy environment.
Yeah.
Okay, so it brings us on nicely to Nails. Nails, this guy felt like he wasn't getting paid enough. And Rob, do you want to tell us why he was sacked?
So this is one of these amazing stories I tell you about. This is how fucking rock and roll it is. How crazy it is. So Nails was hired to be an opponent for the Big Boss Man. Big Boss Man was playing like a prison officer and had his baton and stuff like that. And Nails was one of his one of the old prisoners that Big Boss Man had, and supposedly the Big Boss Man had upset him and had bullied him.
Okay.
But somehow this whole thing about assaulting a prisoner It still made Big Boss Man the good guy.
This is America.
This is America, yeah. Yeah, we fuck him. He's in prison, we're going to have him. But what happened was they did like I think it mean like SummerSlam or something. It might have been the SummerSlam that was in the UK.
Okay.
What happened is like I think there's like rules at the time. Like you don't talk about what you get paid because everyone gets paid differently.
It just causes disputes. Yeah.
Yeah. But somebody heard about what pay somebody was getting, and I think they found out that maybe his opponent, I think the Big Boss Man, might be in like 50k for the pay per view, but Nails was only getting like 10. So Nails,
no doubt he's upset about that.
Yeah, Nails lost his shit. I don't think Nails was a smart man. So Neil lost his shit and went into Vince's office. Then strangled Vince. So it got a bit heated.
That sounds reasonable.
So strangled Vince. And then like Nails is not like... Vince is a big guy. Vince is like 6'2".
It's bigger than Nails.
No. Nails is like 6'7", maybe like 400 pounds. He's fucking huge.
Okay.
And so you got caught strangling Vince. Got pulled apart. Obviously got sacked. You can't just assault your manager as much as you want to. And then decided to then sue Vince and say, I only strangled him because Vince raped me.
What? You're asking for a pay rise? No, bend over, son.
I'm gonna give you a fuck all, and I'm gonna fuck you.
Jesus. I mean, he's kind of financially fucking him, but I didn't think he would try that.
No. So Nails then Nails tried to sue him that he only strangled him because Vince tried to fuck him. And I think I might get a bit of flack of this. I first of all just want to say it was taken to court and Vince was found innocent. And I also want to say, this is where I might get a bit of trouble for, Nails is not the most attractive of men. So
no.
I don't know if this is a good point to say this is why somebody would not be racist.
I don't think in this scenario we can use that as evidence.
No. Do you think I went in court? It's like, Your Honour, Vince is clearly innocent. Look at this ugly bastard.
I have higher standards than that.
Yeah, but he also went on to try and be a part of the big group that was suing Vince about
everything.
Yeah. But yeah, he didn't win his court battle about being raped by Vince.
I'd probably going into that. I wouldn't have thought he would, to be honest. I think the WWE defense is going to be a lot kind of more stringent than Nails is going to have.
I know. Nails actually nearly put himself in prison. He somehow nearly broke. Like, his wrestling character went to prison and nearly put himself in prison. He nearly became the real thing.
Well, he's staying true to his role.
That's it. He's a method actor. It's like the Christian Bale of wrestling.
Okay, so I think we can move on from Nails. He might return at some point, but Bret Hart then, Owen Hart's brother, we've got the Montreal screw job.
Yeah, this is all politics. So the Montreal screw job. So the bit of history for it is that Bret was going to WCW, and it was purely because he was going to get paid more.
Okay,
he was going to get paid more, and that was it. And Vince knew, and he was like, "No,
that's what you're going to do, aren't you? You're going to follow the money.
You're going to follow the money." The only issue is at the time, Bret Hart was champion. From all the stories Bret was very much a case of like, yeah, I'm fine to drop the championship. I think Vince was scared that person was going to try and take the belt over to WCW.
That Lanceman shit really isn't it?
Yeah. And that
they don't want to lose a belt.
No, but it's not that. It makes a mockery of like the company kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? That's the biggest prize is the belt.
Yeah, it's just kind of shitting all over. Was it WF at that time?
Yeah, WWF, yeah. Pardon me. And so I think Vince was scared about this. However, at the time he was feuding with Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, And Shawn Michaels at the time was not a good person. Shawn Michaels might be the biggest dick in wrestling.
Well, I mean, I used to watch it. Obviously, I could tell you that without knowing anything about the guy. He just looks like a dick.
Yeah, he's.
What was his finisher? The kick.
Oh, sweet chin music.
Sweet chin music.
Sweet chin music. Yeah.
The fucking claps.
Yeah.
yeah, prick.
Oh, but behind, he might be one of the best wrestlers of all time. But behind the scenes, he was the biggest cunt as well. Like there's like two people that are up for like biggest cunt in wrestling, and that's Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
they made like that's how you get yourself to the top as well. Do you mean at that time you politicked your way, but this guy was just a dickhead. And they were fighting. There was a couple of times where Bret had just fucking beat up Shawn Michaels. But what the whole thing was is that he was going to drop the belt, but he didn't want to drop it at this pay-per-view. He wanted to drop it the night after. He wanted to have this big win at Survivor Series 1997, and then drop it the next night, and then so that would be it. And they were agreed, yeah, it's totally it.
So it's all planned, it's all kind of contracted out.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what Bret Hart thought. So nobody really knows what's happened. It's one of those biggest myths or secrets in wrestling, what happened.
This is a big conspiracy there.
Yeah. So what happened was we were wrestling, and then Shawn Michaels gets rolled up, and it should have been something, Bret Hart gets rolled up by Shawn Michaels. No finisher or anything. Or no, it wasn't. I think he put him in the figure four. Not the figure four. Oh man, I've forgotten Bret Hart's finishing move. But basically, his finish in wrestling submission.
Okay.
And the referee went, "Yeah, he's tapped out. Ring the bell." So Bret Hart just gets up straight away. And goes, "What the fuck?" Like that's the biggest insult. Is that first of all, you've just robbed me here, but you've made me get robbed by my own move.
It's a double hit, like.
Yeah, so Shawn Michaels grabbed the belt and he ran. And the whole story is like Shawn Michaels ran and he hid. The referee ran straight after the belt out of the building into a car and drove away.
So everyone was in on it. I take it the referee free count was just rapid, like.
Yeah. What wasn't in the pin count? He went, yeah, he's tapped out.
Oh, right, okay.
And
I remember seeing the video of Shawn Michaels and the ref just kind of scrambling away.
Yeah.
I take it so everyone was in it apart from
Bret. Yeah. So Vince was at the time. This was before Vince McMahon was the character. You know, he was still a commentator. Like he didn't want to break that thing. He wanted to still be the commentator, not being actually known as the owner of everything. So he did this. Bret Hart didn't handle it well. He spat. So this is all on camera. Spat on Vince McMahon, and then looked at the main camera. And then with his finger did the gesture of WCW. And then it went backstage. Vince McMahon was assaulted again by Bret Hart.
Any rape allegations this time?
No rape allegations this time.
Any strangulations?
No strangulations, just the death of his brother about 6 months later. Owen Hart.
So there's probably going to be a conspiracy behind that then. The fact that I was screwed over his brother, and then the obviously tension between Bret and Vince caused Vince to screw with the zipline.
Yeah, mass. It's the biggest kind of conspiracy magnet is the Montreal Screwjob of all time in wrestling.
What's your thoughts?
Honestly, I don't know. I think I like the idea that it was just planned out. I like the idea that Bret knew.
Okay.
But at the same time, it put eyes on the project. It put eyes on the show.
Okay.
But at the same time, it puts eyes on the other show as well.
Yeah.
Because Bret's going there. So I think it's probably very much a case that it's not a work. He actually just robbed Bret. Because I don't know, like Vince got spat on, and everybody mentions it, like how Vince got assaulted as well. Like,
in terms of retaliation for Owen Hart's death, was McMahon involved in that intentionally as well?
Oh, do you think Vince?
No, this is a conspiracy I'm talking about.
Cut the lines himself.
Yeah, I mean, he attacked the zip line with. With his Stanley knife. Left it hanging by a thread.
He threw a couple of fucking ninja stars.
Just launched a samurai like a boomerang.
A whole katana.
Like a boomerang through round the arena. Sliced the line. Owen Hart fell.
I think we should post that on Reddit and see where it goes.
Probably take off.
Yeah. There's a potential lawsuit against us.
Yeah, I think we'll. I think we can move on.
Yeah.
Have you fallen out your office window or thrown yourself down the stairs to get an extra 6 weeks off work? Struggling to find a reputable firm to represent you? Well, you're in luck. Jet Fuel Can't Melt Steel Beam solicitors are the right choice for you. We'll listen to your story while putting you in the driving seat. And with a no-win, no-fee, no-TV policy, why not put your trust in us? Strike fear into the defence's eyes when you proudly call Jet Fuel Can't Melt Steel Beams in the courtroom. We know times are tough, so contact us now for a guaranteed loss at the tribunal. Just quote Jet Fuel Can't Melt Steel Beams for 15% off fees. That's Jet Fuel Can't Melt Steel Beams.
We didn't even discuss CM Punk.
No, we got CM Punk very, very briefly how he was sacked by McMahon.
On his wedding day. That's
on the wedding day. I think they've got a long history of tension between the two of them.
Get lost. Maybe sexual tension. Could be a nail situation.
Got obviously Triple H, one of the best known wrestlers of all time, I would say.
Vince McMahon's son.
Is married to Stephanie McMahon, Vince's daughter. Triple H and Vince didn't have the best relationships at the start, but they're obviously they must be tolerating each other through family ties. He'll probably fuck him over sooner or later, though.
I think Triple H is going to be the
takeover boy.
Yeah,
he's been working towards that for the last 20 years.
yeah. Well, he's now like the man behind NXT, which is like it's maybe the third brand, but it's like a feeder project.
Yeah, I think I've seen it. The up and coming.
Yeah, but it's the best stuff. It's where they've got the best wrestlers. They get to do their own stuff and not given hokey storylines or anything like that.
So no storylines, really.
There is storylines, but it's just not hokey.
It's kind of small to the point.
Yeah, so
rivalries.
What you're watching is like a really well choreographed fight.
The guys are pretty good. I watched it when NXT first came out. I watched it and I thought, oh my days, some of these guys are fucking terrible.
Was that when it was like a Big Brother reality kind of show?
Possibly, and they're all greeting because they don't get to the next stage.
Yeah. So it's not even like that anymore. What it is now is that
it's like Love Island.
Yeah, it's Love Island for wrestling.
Wrestling Island.
Yeah. Oh man. No, it's now just a straight up kind of like third show where it is not about practice. That's like it's where they essentially just buy the best wrestlers in the world, put them in NXT. Before they put them on Raw.
So it's moved away from reality TV now.
Yeah, big time.
I'm going to suplex this man because...
No, it's gone away from that. So it is really just against these guys, and it's pretty amazing to watch. You go, Jesus Christ! I never knew somebody could do that.
Yeah, I mean, the guys are really, really talented. It's a lot of talent. Wrestling people forget when they say it's all fake. And
they're putting their body through a hell of a lot of trauma.
100%.
Look at Chris Benoit, great wrestler. Brain age of a fucking 95-year-old.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. It leads to the demise of a lot of people.
Yeah.
It's hard to get out of as well. It's one of these entertainment or sports entertainment. It's hard to kind of retire, walk away from it, and by the time you are retiring, you're done in from steroids and thumping the mat every day.
Yeah, I think you've got to be really smart. You've got to be really smart with it. And if you're at that time, save your money and get that early retirement and have enough in there.
Just get a Hollywood role.
Yeah, well, there's only a few of them that can really do that.
I mean, you've got to look at Kane. he's just such a talented actor.
He is. What was the name of that horror film he was in?
See No Evil.
See No Evil.
He gets stabbed in the eye about 15 times, but he can still see.
No evil.
Sees the evil. Brilliant horror movie.
Fucking what genius.
Who else is in as well? So they got The Rock, done well. John Cena's kind of trying to get into comedy, but like so
I think he's done relatively well. He's done like a couple of things, but I mean the Rock's just unreal, isn't he? He was not the highest paid actor last year or something, or the year before?
Phenomenal. I still don't think he's the best of actors, but obviously given his
he's got charisma, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean you can't say he's a bad actor, but he's certainly
he fits really well in an action role.
Oh yeah, cheesy one-liners and then crushing a helicopter with his bare hands.
I don't see him like doing a drama with Helen Mirren or anything like that anytime soon. Do you know what I mean? The Dame and the Samoan.
Hi, Denzel.
Rico.
That was unintentional. You made it bad. Okay,
let's go off as quickly.
Let's move on to our list. Finally, we're probably about half an hour in, and we've not even got our list started. So let's move on to the positive subject of dead wrestlers. So, first on the list we have age 29. We have Lance Cade, who died in 2010 of a heart attack. An overdose from pills. So I think it's not been established whether it's suicide or not, but certainly overdose from pills. I don't know the full story.
That seems to be the kind of a wrestler died. Take it was pills and pills and a heart attack.
Yeah, so like I was saying, it's really hard to get away from wrestling. Like once you're kind of in wrestling, you're in wrestling. So even if you're still employed by WWE, it's hard to escape because you're on tour, and then if you have an injury or something, you're just sitting there, don't know what to do with yourself. It's like a lot of sports, really.
29 years old as well.
It's grim.
That's really bad.
32 years old was Crash Holly, who died in 2003. He was a hero.
He was a legend. That Hardcore Championship. Do you remember that? The 24/7 Hardcore Championship.
Oh yeah.
Where he's kicking about in a kids area, a play pit, and he gets chased by a referee and like a bunch of wrestlers in a play pit. Fucking phenomenal. Was
it his brother as well?
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Hardcore. They both had they
were both just mental.
Yeah, they weren't brothers in real life, but what they did is like one of them was just really small and white, one of them was big and white, so they just dyed both their hair blonde.
So it's essentially Caucasian racism.
A couple of Orions there.
I think that's why Ben's not here today.
Yeah.
Is because I pronounced Aryan wrong. I read it on the script. I had a space. So the font I had like a space. It was like Ryan. And I didn't want to use my brain and try and figure out what it was. So
I didn't want to use
Ryan. Oh shit.
Oh god.
Here comes all the neo-Nazis.
Getting them all upset.
Okay, and unfortunately, Crash Holly was another one that fell to drug overdose and alcohol poisoning, and that was deemed a suicide as well. This is a very grim list. I'm liking it.
Banter list, eh?
Yeah, it's...
This is how you should spend your Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Next, we're moving on to Test. 33 years old, died in 2009 of, again, a drug overdose. His death was ruled accidental, though.
He's a fucking mutant, honestly.
He was tanning oxycodone, an opioid-based painkiller.
Yeah, oxys is I think that's like the. Do you know you hear all about like the prescription killers in America?
Bet fucking Hitler wished they were about.
No. I stopped Hesmond anyway. Oxy, I think, is like the biggie. I think oxys is the big prescription drug that
everyone's going for. Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah. So It was later determined by forensic pathologists that he had severe chronic traumatic encephalopathy, just like Benoit.
Steroid abuse, isn't it?
No, it was the brain. Brain injury, exact same kind of Alzheimer's pattern. It was caused by repeated concussions and subconcussive head injuries, so just repetitive head trauma, really.
Yeah.
And just returning too quickly. I think now they have to have a certain amount of time off. I know a lot of sports they do. NFL. I don't know about wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling's really big on the
after the kind of tragedies, the number of tragedies.
Yeah, like people have retired and stuff like that. So this is where I want to do my apology. In the Benoit podcast, we made a lot of jokes and comments about the wrestlers and what's happened, and I want to make a big apology because I said a Tyson Kidd retired with concussions. He didn't. It was a neck injury. Everything else is fucking fine.
Everything else is fine. with fucking
so
Benoit.
We've not even released the episode yet, and I know people are going to get, oh, well, this guy, he didn't actually have concussion. Like, fuck off, virgin.
You're doing well to expand the fan base, Rob. and plus, the fact you made a joke about Benoit cross-facing his son.
No, I stand by that. What's the issue?
You apologise about the small...
It's macabre humour, my friend.
you got a small fact check wrong.
Huh? Yeah, I've got to. You've got to admit when you're in the wrong, and I just have. And I'm sorry.
At least we've got that and Orion out the way.
And libido. But yeah. So no, they are very much aware of concussions. So the likes of Christian's concussion. So remember Edge and Christian?
Okay, yeah.
Christian had multiple concussions, and I think he just had to retire
because of the kind of damage it was causing.
Yeah,
I think they caught it early enough.
Yeah,
because
like,
you can recover. You can make a certain, to an extent. You can't get a full recovery, I don't think, but you can to a certain extent. So
like Daniel Bryan's back in wrestling now. He was retired for 2 years because they did, like, is it a CTE scan? They did a scan on your brain.
Yeah.
And they thought, like, oh god, like, he's got it. He's going to have like a brain bleed or something. But turned out it wasn't the case. It was just a mistake made. And so he returned back to wrestling. But for him, because he had suffered multiple concussions anyway, he has to get tested like every match.
Just to see what kind of state his brain is.
Yeah, so I think he has to do like certain kind of like tests to ensure he's not concussed or stuff like that. But yeah, so they do take it seriously now, because you can't be having kids like who are in their early 20s, early 30s, whatever, having to be fucked.
Just
yeah, but testing his own legal test is like fucking. He's not naturally built. You look at him in the WWF at the time; he was a big lad. But then you look at him he went to TNA. Like, he was like, I'm now moving to a company where they don't do any testing. So he turned into the Hulk.
I thought you were waiting to see he went the other way and looked like Daniel Radcliffe.
He shrunk. No, this guy turned into a fucking bear. He was already massive already. He got fucking Roidy Magoo. That's the scientific term. The specimen is a Roidy Magoo. And that was he was yeah. But no.
Excellent. Next on the list we have Umaga.
Oh, I don't really know much about Umaga.
So Umaga had body to die for. Looked like Rikishi.
Samoan.
So, yeah.
One of the Rock's relatives, then. No, honestly, they're all related.
And Denzel.
Carry on, please.
We're going to have to edit a big chunk of this anyway. So
no, they'll never understand. It's fine. They'll never understand.
Umaga was quite a big, large gentleman.
Large and in charge.
Samoan gentleman, yeah, covered in tattoos. Looked like he was away to have a heart attack every time he wrestled. Do you know how he died?
No.
Heart attack.
Oh!
Yeah. Drug intoxication apparently was the main cause, but I don't think his weight his body fat percentage, his BMI wasn't great. So, I don't think that helped.
Yeah, all these people are related. Do you know what I mean? Like Umaga, they're all from the same like family.
Well, Samoa's just one family, though.
Yeah. There's one wrestler called Samoa Joe, who's in the WWE. He's not related to them. The one boy that's actually got Samoa in his name is not related to him. But the likes of The Rock, that's like his cousin or something, that Umaga. Rikishi is his uncle. The Usos are Rikishi's kids. Nia Jax is The Rock's cousin. They're all related. And then you go back, mostly all of those other Samoan wrestlers were all related to The Rock as well.
It's quite
and a lot of them, like, you remember the Japanese wrestler Yokozuna?
Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't Japanese, he was Samoan. That was The Rock's uncle.
How do you pass that one off? I think we've got to do some DNA testing.
So that's again about like casual racism from like the. So if you like squint your eyes, he might be Japanese.
We'll pass him off as Samoan.
And he's large. Let's call him a sumo wrestler. And his name's Yokozuna. How do you feel about that?
Sing Town.
That is the beer we're drinking today.
And that's what the clattering was. Rob was passing me the bottle opener and I was just making as much noise, knocking things over.
I did it once. It's okay.
I was just playing drums with
it. Yeah. It's like we've got one of the massive bottles as well, so we have to lay it gently on the carpet. Because if we don't, this happens.
We're probably going to need to do that for most of the assassination attempts, just for sound effects.
Yeah, like,
after.
That's like our version of that. Dun, 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 just that. Right, where are we? This is where we need Ben to go. Right, boys, come back.
Yeah, Ben would have cut out like.
So somebody said Denzel and you panicked and started chatting.
Okay, Eddie Guerrero. Fans' favourite, one of Rob's favourites. He sadly passed away at 38 in 2005 of arteriosclerotic heart disease, where obviously the inside of the artery walls fills up with plaque and narrows, so restricting blood supply. So unfortunately he died in 2005. I think that was just before Benoit. Not long, well, not a couple of years, I think, but.
I think it was a year. A year?
It was 2007, I think, Benoit, so maybe a year and a half. I don't know the dates, but between a year and 2 years, anyway. And I think that was the demise of Benoit.
Uh-huh. And we've discussed about it now.
We've discussed a lot of that, so we can move on. We have the British Bulldog, died in 2002, aged 39, another heart attack. He was mental.
Oh yeah. He was. He's a character, but his is a lot of drug abuse as well.
Oh yeah.
Steroids obviously out the zoo, but he was doing meth and shit like that.
Tanning acid before going in the ring.
He was doing like meth. There was things about like before he won I think it was the Intercontinental Championship or something. It was at the SummerSlam that was in that Wembley Stadium, so it was massive. Supposedly Brett had to find him like 3 weeks prior, and he'd went missing. The Bulldog, and he was found with can't remember whose name is one of the Neidharts.
Okay.
And they were just both in a room on meth. Or was it crack? One or the other. They were doing math.
They weren't doing math.
I don't know why I fused meth and crack together and just put math. They're doing math. Doing their times tables. No, they were just found doing crack. And Brett was like, no. So Brett pretty much just got him out there, got him cleaned up, got him through, because he was fighting Brett anyway, and basically got him through the match just to win the thing. But yeah, it was a career full of just abuse, steroids, and drugs.
Yeah,
mad partying lifestyle.
Just imagine him snorting a line off of Neil's back while he was getting banged for Vince. That was the locker room scene back in the day.
Snorting glue, remember?
Shooting glue.
Oh, shooting glue.
Snorting LSD and shooting glue. That's the dream. Okay, we've got the Big Boss Man. 2004, he died of a heart attack, aged 41. We've chatted about him briefly on the subject of nails as well, yeah.
That's scary, he's 41. That's wild. Because I remember seeing him in like I watch we're going to do I'll do a little shout out. Watch a YouTube channel called OSW Review, and they do a video podcast, and it may be just one of the funniest video podcasts you can get.
Is it good?
It's really good, and they do certain eras of wrestling, and they go about seriously about the matches, but also just take the piss. Really, really smart guys, really funny, and so you watch these things wrestling you might miss, and they have a Big Boss Man in them, and they go like, Big Boss Man is always looked over the age of 40, even when he was in his early 20s. Like he fucking had a tough paper around the Big Boss Man. Like, see, when you said 41 at his death, I went, fuck, I thought he would have been in his 60s at least.
At least 94.
He was but he was just you never hear any stories about him on like the drugs or that.
No.
But he was just he was a big lad, and he'd been wrestling a long time.
No, definitely.
I think that's a bit where just his body was broken, probably. Maybe had a bad diet and just...
Yeah. That brings back memories, the Big Boss Man. That was kind of the era that I was watching it, really.
Yeah. Do you remember when he got hanged? Yeah, the Undertaker hung him from a cell.
Very good vibes. So, no wonder so many children watch it.
Like from a like a noose. I had him on like a noose and had him hanged. Yeah, that's TV, bro.
That's back in the day. Like now you can't even watch Pokemon without it being censored.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine Vince in that meeting? It's like, oh God, all these kids and all this merchandising. Oh, what sells to the kids? Lynching.
I'm not going to say anything.
No, don't.
Okay. 46 years old, we lost to China in 2016 of a drug overdose.
Yeah. Possibly
accidental. Could have been suicide. Likely suicide. She was pretty much a junkie though at that point. She starved.
She'd been like recovered. And then I think she probably just went back to her body couldn't handle what she had before.
Yeah, sometimes it's too hard. You go to rehab and then struggle to.
Was it not like Amy Winehouse? Was not just like a cocktail, alcohol and drugs?
I think pretty much. I was wishing Ben was here because I think Ben told me about.
He's got all our DVDs.
Backdoor to China 7. Yeah,
Neil and Palin.
He doesn't really. I don't think he's a massive wrestling fan, but he'd certainly be able to chip out of China.
Yeah. It's just a song about a big something. I don't know. But no, China was. She was a legend. Do you know what I mean? She was there wrestling the men as well, and she was probably another enemy of Vince McMahon, but more especially Stephanie McMahon.
Right. Okay.
Because she was in a relationship with Hunter, Triple H, and he was one of the things that got her into the wrestling because she was just a bodybuilder.
Okay.
And then eventually she had made it big. Then Triple H had, I think, just dumped China,
and she fell into a world of...
and then went away with Stephanie McMahon. And then somehow I don't think the McMahons liked the idea of. Vince McMahon maybe liked the idea of his little girl's boyfriend having an ex there. And so she left. And then she did well. I think she went to Japan for a little while. Then went into like the porno game.
Lovely.
And then had a couple of breakdowns. And then she went to live in China. I think she was like teaching English.
Okay.
And then I think everything was going well. And then she was dead, so maybe not. So just saying, it sounded like it was going well. You're like, good for her. And then you read the report and go, she's dead. And went, well, that's bad.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
that's what he said. Let's quickly move on.
Please don't make any allegations again.
No. My mouth is sealed shut.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. She's probably one of the her and Lita, maybe Trish Stratus as well, is maybe one of the big influences for a lot of female wrestlers nowadays.
Oh, yeah. I think a number of them kind of hit it hard with a lot of kind of drug abuse when they...
Yeah, apart from Trish Stratus.
She's still going strong.
She is... Well, she left wrestling, had a family, started up like her own like yoga studio or something.
It's not what you expect from a wrestling star.
Yeah, she was clean as a whistle. She's meant to be like a sweetheart, they all say. And I've seen a picture of her recently because supposedly she was on a recent episode of like Raw or SmackDown or something. But I've seen a picture of her just when I was having a look at a couple of things today, and like fuck in hell, she just looks amazing.
Yeah,
yeah. So it's like not alcohol aged or drug aged that you kind of see with a lot of wrestlers when you look at now photos. She looks perfect, looks happy.
Just,
like, well,
just the rest of them just look like a croissant.
Yeah. How old are you? 39.
A mouldy squashed croissant.
Pistachio coloured croissant.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad we could have a bit of a laugh. So because we're coming
at China's expense.
Yes. we're moving on to quite a grim conclusion to the list.
Okay.
So at age 25, we have David Von Erich.
Oh God.
Otherwise known as David Adkisson, which is his real name. He died on the 10th of February 1984 of a brain tumour. I'm not sure how wrestling related it was. It must have been kind of influenced by wrestling in some way.
Yeah.
But unfortunately he passed away at a young age of 25. We have Mike Von Erich, who died aged 23. Michael Adkisson, April 12th, 1987, a suicide by drug overdose.
Fuck.
I think that was as a result of losing his brother. I think they were quite close.
Yeah.
Chris Von Erich, aged 21. It's Chris Adkisson, died September the 12th, 1991, which is actually the day I was born. Suicide by gunshot. If that's not omens, I don't know what. I think that sets the tone for things to come.
Do you think you're the reincarnation of him?
Probably.
That's why you've got all those muscles.
Well, not anymore.
Well, not an off period. Everyone gets an off period.
I look like a deflated bouncy castle at the minute. Like,
you need to get in the same.
Fine.
You need to get in the same gear Test had.
Oh, I want that chronic traumatic.
You need to get that impact test look.
What, just smashed skull?
Oh, we don't want you hurting your head.
No, wear a helmet.
Bang a couple of roids.
PPE.
Get the old Roy D. Magoo look.
I love your scientific terms. Okay, so we have Kerry Von Erich.
The legend. He's probably the most famous Von Erich.
33.
Texas Hurricane, I think it was.
I don't have the name. I can't remember. Kerry Adkisson. February 18th, 1993. Again, suicide by gunshot. So we have four brothers that all died, all involved in wrestling. We have the fifth brother, which is Kevin Von Erich, who's the only one of the five brothers in wrestling that survives today.
Jesus.
Due to various concussions suffered, including one which triggered a seizure in the ring in 1987, he had to be given CPR in the ring. He suffers from post-concussion syndrome and was known for making many strange comments to the press over the years. Sad quote, "I used to have four brothers, now I'm not even a brother."
That's...
How grim is that?
That is fucking tragic.
That's really, really, really sad. So,
it's yeah, the Von Erichs. It's like it's weird to say. It's horrible saying it, but they're regarded like the cursed wrestling family. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think they had quite a bit of a tough upbringing wrestling wise. But yeah, that might be the most poignant line uttered on this podcast.
Probably a good way to end the episode.
Yeah,
I think we should probably. I think we'll maybe cover the Hitler in a separate episode.
Yeah.
We'll still do it because we promised we'd do it, but we're maybe running a bit into overtime.
Into our battery life. Because some Mongo forgot to bring his charger.
Well done, Rob.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay, we can...
I know I've insulted you and then I've taken that into my battery.
we can we can get that done. So I think we'll just round this episode up just to say Vince McMahon is a prick.
Yeah, he's a bit of the sausage eye.
He's caused, obviously, the list that we've just gone over. There's a number of kind of early deaths that are probably influenced quite a bit by the man himself, Vince.
Mm-hmm.
I for one want a I Did It t-shirt.
Yeah.
I want to try and find one.
Oh man, can we eBay that?
And shout out to Denzel. Sorry.
Yeah, see you, Dan. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry for any offence caused. It'll probably just get worse for the following episodes. So.
Oh well.
Yeah. So
thank you very much for listening, and we'll speak to you next week.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Describing women who wear burqas as looking like letterboxes and bank robbers.
We'll begin immediate construction of a border wall.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
Thanks for coming. Welcome to the White House.
Over.